All right, everybody, welcome back to Andy's Attic. You can see I have a new little gadget here that I've been testing out for today's video. Pretty cool, pretty cheap, Temu. All right, let me turn this camera around so you can see me. All right, here I am, sporting my 2016 Bavarian League Championship windbreaker pullover. We actually won back-to-back the next year. Anyway, that was many moons ago as well. So, welcome back. Hope you can join me in another food issue card that I like to collect. We're going to follow suit off the Hostess with the Mostess video with some Drake's cakes here. And I'm going to take you through that. So, rather than listen to me ramble a little bit, I'm going to turn the camera around and display some cards, show some cards. Oh, and at the end of this video, I'm also going to show you my recent pickups. There was a little card show this weekend at my local mall. I'll show you what I picked up there and a few purchases from eBay. And then we'll conclude the video. All right, hope you enjoy. All right, this first one I'm going to show you is the first annual collector's edition. It didn't come on boxes of cards. I'm pretty sure you could send in for the set. This is the 1981 Drake set featuring 33 cards. As you can see, there's a nice Yaz on the front there. Shout out to Picker Jim. There's the second annual, 1982. They're a yellow border. Hope there's not too much of a glare, actually. I think there is, so I'll try to tilt it a little bit. All right, if I can count correctly, I think these went from 1981 to 1987 or 88. I think 88. But I have 8 sets. So this will be the third annual collector's edition with the box. If anybody knows where I could find a box for the first 2 sets, I'd appreciate it, because I like having them in these collector's boxes. If I'm not sure if there was or not. I like that little Drake's duck. It's a pretty cool emblem. And these cards, I'm not going to take them all out, but I'll show you what they look like. As we pull a Carew up there, which is with the Angels, but he used to be a Twin. So I'll give another shout out to my man over at Commenting Collector Rob. All right, I'm going to pause this while I get these back in, because the bottom of the box, that little tab that goes in, I don't want to bend any of these cards. I also have a second set of these third annual collector's edition from 1983. Has a little Reggie. Alright, moving on to the 1984, which is also in a nice little box with the Drake duck. And let's see if I can get one out of here so you can see what these ones look like, because I don't think I have another set of these anywhere open. So I apologize again for the glare, any kind of video distortion, or me just mumbling my words. There we go. There's a Wade Boggs. Little shout out to John over at Wade Boggs Fan. A little bit of George Brett. Give another shout out to my boy Chris. Chris from Missouri. We're handing out shout outs like Oprah Winfrey today. We got a little Bill Buckner with the Cubs. So I'll give a shout out to my Pal Jason over there at Basement Card Collector. There's another Carew with his iconic stance there. One of my favorite hitters, Rod Carew. You know, you have Tony Gwynn, obviously. I loved watching Rod Carew. As little as I saw him mostly on highlights and on This Week in Baseball highlights and stuff like that. But I really loved Rod Carew. I actually have a little PC going of Rod Carew that I will be showing one of these weeks. Little Gary Carter in those beautiful powder blue or sky blue Expos uniforms. God, I missed that red, white, and blue helmet and hat. And there were some nice unis back then. Another Cubby Ron Say. I'm not going to go through all these. There's an Andre Dawson, which is also Jason over there at Basement Card Collectors. He's his favorite player when he was with the Cubs. The Hawk. Love the Hawk. Great hitter. Let's see. Keith Hernandez. We'll give a little shout out to Mookie Chilson. Or there's one for you, Mookie. I know it's not Mookie Wilson, but who doesn't love a little Keith Hernandez? Got that 80s porn stash going on. Can't beat that. We got Bob Horner from the Braves. Might as well give another shout out. We'll give a shout out to John 3D80's kid on that one. Anyway, I'm not going to focus on these 84s. There's my man, Mad Dog Madlock. All you Pirate fans out there, I'll give you a shout out. Oh, and speaking of John 3D80s, there's his favorite. Dale Murphy. Anyway, we're going to move on. Little Straw Man. Who doesn't like Darryl Strawberry back in the day? And Alan Trammell. We'll give a shout out here to Mr. BK at Mac Wax Stacks. No stashy stash. Oh, here we go. We'll end it with Mookie Wilson for Mookie Chilson. How about that? All right, I'm gonna throw this cards back in the box. Put it back in the box. That's what she said. All right, we're gonna go next. 1985. Drake's 1985 Big Hitters plus Super Pitchers. Not as cool a box, I don't think, but cards are just as cool. Has the checklist on the back, as do the other ones. We'll take a couple out of here too. I'm trying not to make this video too long, but I only make videos usually once a week anyway, so I'm sure you could bear with me or fast forward, one or the other. Little Tony Armas. Another shout out to my man Picker Jim. Really neat cards. I loved collecting these. There's a little bit of Dwight Evans. Speaking of good hitters, Tony Gwynn. Another one for Rob Commenting Collector right there, Mr. Kent Herbeck. There's Donnie Baseball. It's Three Good Nerds. Pretty sure he's a Mattingly fan. Another Murphy. There's But my man, it just got inducted into the Hall of Fame this year. He's going to be getting inducted. Long overdue, as I keep saying, Mr. Dave the Cobra Parker, when he was with the Reds. I just read this somewhere, and I'm not, I'm pretty sure. First home run contest champion right there. Wasn't like it's set up today, but pretty sure the first home run competition they had, he was the winner of it. Little Lance Parrish, Tim Rock Raines, little Jim Rice. There's Doc. Dr. K. That was my guy when I was playing Babe Ruth baseball. I even wore number 16 my senior Babe Ruth year. I wore number 16 in honor of him and Mr. Bo Jackson. Two of my favorites back in the middle 80s there. All right, next I'm going to show you. This is the first edition that they came out with that were hand cut. This is the 6th annual collector's edition. And I remember my mom going store shopping every week, and I would let her know who I needed, and she would try to pick up those specific cupcakes. These I've had all these Drakes since my childhood. These are all hand cut. But I have the whole set. It's from 1986. I'm going to show you the 7th annual edition, which are yellow border and hand cut. I tried to cut them as close to the, so you could see the lines and the borders and stuff like that. Obviously, they were right next to each other on some of them, so you'd have to buy 2 boxes in order to get one around the border on each. And obviously my parents weren't made out of money, so I was fortunate enough that they bought the ones they did for me to put these sets together, so I'm grateful. Mr. Ricky Henderson. Rest in peace, Ricky. I would put him up there with the greatest of all time, as far as stolen base leader. Best leadoff hitter probably of all time. At least power-wise. Love me some Ricky. Ricky Bean Ricky. Another Dale Murphy, which is another guy I really like a lot. Liked him back when I was a kid, as far as being a non-pirate. And I feel he should be in the Hall of Fame. Injuries plagued him. He went back-to-back MVPs. He was a feared hitter back in the day. Jim Rice, Wade Boggs, Kevin Bass made the cut. Kevin Bass made the cut. Little Kirby Puckett. I'll give another shout out there to Mr. Commenting Collector. Harold Baines. I know a lot of people don't feel he should be in the Hall of Fame, but God, he was like one of the bright spots on such crappy teams in his early days. And because I know Kirk Gibson ruined their dreams at one point. And Doc Gooden, Jack Morris, Fernando Mania. I remember when I was like a 10-year-old kid, it was just all over the place. You would see it on This Week in Baseball, and awesome. I don't know if they ever really found out his true age. Because I know there was a lot of controversy that he was older when he came into the league, but there's Roger Clemens. And steroids or not, I feel him, Barry Bonds, a number of those guys, McGuire, Palmeiro, they should all be in the Hall of Fame. There's the Ryan Express. Another one of my favorite pitchers of all time. And Mike Scott, who had a pretty good run there in the 80s. And that's my set. And I also have a few other delightful things out of that year. This here is a panel from one of the boxes featuring Gary Carter, Rhino, Ryan Sandberg, and Harold Baines. And then I also have from that same year a Strawberry and Wally Joyner. This is a full box, folks. $1.69. July 30th. So that was 1987. Advertisement, 2 big hitter baseball cards on back. There they are. And we got Von Hayes and Jose Canseco. Jose, can you see? And my favorite out of the Drake's product right there, Funny Bone. Man, a few years back when they stopped making these, they finally brought them back a few years ago, but there was like probably a 4-year stretch, 5-year stretch with something with somebody taking over in the recipe, I think, or something like that. I don't know, but man, did I miss these. And obviously I can't really eat too many of these with my diabetes, but every now and then I'll sneak one, I'll cheat a little bit. But yeah, there you go. That's the 87 yellow bordered. And then we'll finish it up with the 8th annual edition. And this was the last edition they came out with that they were hand cut as well. We got Donnie Baseball. And notice there's creases. There's a crease there. I don't care. I don't care. I love these cards. A huge part of my childhood, huge part of my preteens, teen days, when I was playing a lot of sports, playing Babe Ruth baseball, high school baseball. I loved going to the grocery store and looking through them or giving my mom the list, like I said, who I needed. These cards have so much sentimental value to me. I would never sell these. You could offer me probably $1 million and I would not sell these. I know that's pushing it, but I'm just trying to give you an idea how special these are to me. I connect with these. It takes me back to my youth as an older man now and seemingly missing my youth as days pass by, because I couldn't tell you the last time I felt really, really good. My body aches, all the aches and pains from sports over the years. And like you saw in the beginning, this windbreaker from 2016, I just, it was probably only about 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago, that I actually stopped everything else. And then obviously night shift took over and I needed my sleep. But the Hawk, such great hitters back then. I have such fond memories of all these guys. Kirby, God rest your soul too. Juan Samuel, Eddie Murray, even Larry Sheets made the cut. He must have had a good year that year. Oh, excuse me. Let's see his stats for the previous year. Oh yeah, 31 home runs, 23 doubles, about at 316. That was probably a career year for him, because I don't remember hearing too much after that. But it's cool looking back at these cards, bringing them out. Eric the Red, another one of my favorites to watch back then. Obviously, Cal Ripken. Pedro Guerrero. give a shout out to my man Pepino Man over there, out there in Los Angeles area. Some exciting stuff going out there with the Dodgers. Been winning some baseball games. And there's Will Clark. So Will Clark, I can give a shout out, even though he's an Indians Guardians fan. My man Warren D in the CLE is a big Will Clark collector. If you need this one, bud, sorry, this isn't leaving my collection. Go find your own Will Clark, that is. A little bit of Dwight Gooden. Like I said, Dwight Gooden was, and like I said previously, my grandmother was a huge Mets fan. She was a huge sports influence in my life. I remember going up her house day after day after day during the summers and stuff, and watching baseball games with her. Her explaining different players and whatnot. And you know, one of my pickups yesterday actually will be a follow-up. Has some connections with the Mets, as you'll see. Anyway. Roger. The Rocket Roger. Rick Sutcliffe. Jacques Morris. And finishing up with John Tudor. Pretty good pitcher. I wouldn't say a great pitcher. Like I said, he must have had a good year this year. He was probably a little, 95 and 60. He was above average. Posted a record of 21-8 back with the Pirates on a losing team in 1984. So, I mean, he was a bright spot on my team for at least one season. Ex-Red Sox. Not too shabby. Probably more deserving of the cut than Larry Sheets, but all right. So that will conclude the Drakes rundown. I have every set since the inaugural year. There is a set from the 50s Drakes. I don't think it's connected to Drake's Cupcakes, but you could correct me if I'm wrong. I actually looked at some of them. It's mostly Dodgers, I think. As I have checked out a Pee Wee Reese and a few others that I had my eye on a couple years ago. All right. So anyway, now I'm going to get to a few eBay purchases in the last week. We have Elston Howard from the New York Yankees. Really hitting the crap out of the ball with that torpedo bat. Not sure what's going to come of that. I know there's a lot of controversy with that as well. But, hey, I once seen Brian Downing freaking crack a bat and it still left the ballpark. So, who knows? Oh, let's turn this here. Elston shows how it's done. I love the cartoon and caricatures and everything else. The funnies or whatever you want to call them. But he's a Yankees great. Loved Elston Howard. I actually used to have this card, sold it, and now I have gotten one back in an even better condition. And I don't go off the number. I think mine was a 6, but it was a lot more off-center than this one, and fairly cheap. Not too bad. I also picked up this Bill Mazeroski. It's in the old slab. Don't care. Card looks great. Old slab, new slab. Don't look at the slab. Don't look at the number. I pull the card up. I supersize it. And I view it. And I look for little little flaws, and honestly, off-centering doesn't really bother me that much because that's how it came from the factory out of the packs. But when I am buying them, I do like to try one that, or yeah, bleh, try to find one that's fairly centered. This video has now run 27 minutes and 25 seconds long. So, hope you're still with me, because I have a little bit more to go yet. It's a 1957 Bob Skinner. And you see, no slab. I do collect cards that do not have slabs. I may send this in. I may not. Depends how I'm feeling. Obviously, I am not wealthy enough to send every card I have in to be graded. But usually with my Pirates, if they're nice looking, ungraded, I'll send one. Notice I do not say raw. I think raw is a pretty stupid word as far as pertaining to cards. I think it should just be graded and ungraded. Alright, and I'm going to go with this one I had picked up at the card show. I had a few other ones here that really not going to show. No need to show them. They're nothing special. Right here. This is the glare. This is a 1952 Bowman, Ralph Kiner. Which I said, it's connected to the Mets. He was Kiner's corner for many nights that I spent up in my grandmother's house watching the Mets games with her. Fierce power hitter in his early days. I think first 7 years he led the league or something like that, or 7 years in a row. Sorry guys, I didn't do my research before I made this video. I'm just going off of my old memory. But he went on to play with, I think, the Cubs, Indians, not sure. I think it's both. You can leave it in the comments. I don't care. Critique me. Corrective criticism is welcome. Constructive criticism is always welcome. The lighting is horrible in this room, and I apologize. I will be doing something about that in the near future. Anyway, there you go. I did get another card with this. Maybe I'll show it, and maybe someone else will show it. We'll see. All right. Anyway, me and Picker Jim went back and forth the last couple weeks with some gratitude and appreciation for one another. I really appreciate Jim. We've become pretty good friends over the past several months. So I picked these up off of eBay to represent that. He's a big Yaz collector, Yaz fan, and I am a big Stargell fan. So I thought these went well together in my purchase, Jim. So every time I see these two cards, it'll remind me of us. You know, I have mutual respect for you as a collector. Love your collection. But as a person, love you even more, brother. All right. With that being said, the community love, it's not ending here. It's going to continue, but it'll continue off camera. All right. I am going to turn this around. Conclude my video. All right. Coming back at you from Attic Studios here in Pennsylvania. Northeast Pennsylvania. Obviously I'm a Pirates fan and I'm on the Philly side of Pennsylvania, but that ain't happening, so too bad. Have a lot of Phillies friends, love them, respect them. But anyway, that's what I had to show you today. I know it was a longer than normal video. I hope you stayed tuned in. I know sometimes the longer videos are deterring because you don't want to sit there for a half hour or 40 minutes. You know, I pick and choose. Depends on who it is, who I'm subscribed to, how close we are. And just like anybody else, I prefer a 7 or an 8 minute video, 6 minute, 5 minute video, you know, when I have a lot of stuff to do or whatever. So I get it. Some people I've been hearing, you know, listen to these things on their way to work on the radio. So if you have a, you know, half hour, 45-minute drive, check it out. I promise I'm going to be getting a cell phone probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Hopefully it's a little better as far as the camera goes. I was also told the audio is a little rough on these from a coworker that watched a few of my videos. But we'll see. The most important part right now is I'm on here making content, connecting and staying connected to the people that I've already connected with as far as being a commenter for the last couple years. And we're going to try to bring you something every week, and I'm going to try to do some shout outs every week. And that's that. So with that being said, I need to go catch some Z's because I have work tonight. It's going to be a short week. I actually took my Thursday night and the Friday off, which is my Friday. Working night shift, so maybe I'll get an extra video in this week. Maybe I'll just take that day and do nothing and just rest. So we'll see what happens, see how exhausted I am towards the end of the week. But as you can see, have not shaved yet. That's just the laziness in me and just time constraint with everything going on. But have some wild ones going over here too. So anyway, we'll send you off. If I'm going to say it before I turn it around and be like, thank you for joining me today. Subscribe, like. Oh, one huge thing I was reminded of yesterday, and I wasn't even paying attention to it. Didn't even know where I was at, because I think the last time I checked, I was like at 62 subs or something like that. Anyway, Rob at Commenting Collector informed me that I have hit my 100 subs. I was only 2 away when he informed me. I have hit my 100 subs. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for each and every one of those subs. I have talked to a few guys. I'd like to give a shout out. I've been communicating with him a lot as far as in comments. Gannon, and I will put his link at the bottom of the screen or in my description, because offhand I can't remember exactly what it is. So I apologize for that, Gannon. But me and Gannon have been talking back and forth for a few weeks now, and really good guy. Go check all these channels out. Really good channels. If you're not subscribed to them already, please do. And let's take these stupid things. I hate them. I only need them to read anyway. I guess it's just the fact I don't want to give in to old age. It's probably what it is. But anyway, please take the time to check out some of them channels. They are really good channels. Gannon has a way with his words too, storytelling. I really enjoyed the video or two that I've watched of his. And that's another thing. I would love to watch everybody's stuff. It's so hard during the day, there's not enough hours in the day, and I know other people say it too, to see everybody's videos. There's so much good stuff out there. Whenever I have some downtime or I get a break to eat lunch, I'll eat lunch and watch some videos. Just so you know, it's hard. I still, I'll like it. If I get a chance to watch it and not comment, I'll like it. It's about all I can tell you. I got, family, 3 kids. I work. She works. It's just 2 dogs. there's a lot that goes on in my day, and I barely have time to sleep, honestly. I got about 2.5, 3 hours of sleep before I go into work every night. I'm actually making this video right now, and I probably got about an hour and a half or 2 hours of sleep that I'll be able to get. So I'm a busy person. With that being said, these are my final send-off. Have a super freaking awesome day, everybody. Like I always say, life is short. I've already lost a couple people I knew in the last couple months. I know Mr. Daryl Giordano over at Mr. 95 Cents just lost a friend a couple weeks ago. Life is short. And I always say, life's like a roll of toilet paper. The closer you get to the end, quicker it goes. So I'll end it right there. God bless everybody. Thanks for joining me. Thank you and good night.